Friends, we are nearing the end of our series reflecting on the signs performed by Jesus in the Gospel of John. Since the beginning of this worship series, we've seen a dramatic shift in the way that Jesus behaves when enacting the seemingly impossible. At the very beginning, Jesus was pretty indifferent to it all. Turning water into wine really felt like a cheap party trick, but the opportunity to meet a need was there, and he stepped up when help was needed. Healing the son of a royal court member was another, where Jesus felt less than enthusiastic about performing that miracle. But he met the need nonetheless, promoting abundant life. Healing the man who could not walk was the first sign he did without anyone asking. And he hoped that his illegal work would result in real justice for others and a transformation in attitude, similar to his hopes for the sign that we read about today. And in the feeding of the 5,000 families, Jesus again shows that where there is a need, God can be found in what is available. In the first four signs, Jesus sits back and hopes that those witnessing will see what he's trying to reveal by taking these actions. But it just didn't happen. Last week, we saw Jesus take matters into his own hands, stepping into his divine authority as the great I am, and leaving no room for interpretive error. The sign we read about today is no different. Jesus is back in Jerusalem, ready to create very intentional transformation through stirring the pot. As he and his disciples walk down the street, they come across a man who was blind from birth. In that time, there were two believed causes of sickness: sins of parents that resulted in the suffering of children, and prenatal sin caused by the fetus. The man sitting before them was a social outcast due to these assumptions that his physical and social conditions were the consequence of his parents' sins or his own. As Jesus and his disciples walk down the street, they naturally are wondering how this man came to be sick. And the disciples ask Jesus, who sinned, this man or his parents? Jesus responds by redirecting them, saying, "You're asking the wrong question. You're looking for someone to blame. There is no such cause and effect here. Look instead to what God can do." Jesus again is reforming how his followers approach situations where their traditions might keep them from doing the next good thing, shifting them from established viewpoints to something new. Here, Jesus recommends a dramatic change. Instead of debating how this man came to be blind, Jesus shows the disciples that this is simply an opportunity to serve. Where there is a need, the best course of action is to meet it, something that Jesus has shown in all of his signs to this point. Jesus' actions here again contradict the religious traditions of the Jewish people. He performs another healing miracle on the Sabbath day, something that got him into hot water last time he did so, when he healed the man who could not walk. And again, the Pharisees are furious, seeing Jesus as someone who is committing religious crimes and blatantly sinning in their holy city. And they want nothing more than to get rid of him. Pharisees get a bad rap in the New Testament because of their opposition to Jesus. And it's easy to frame them as the bad guys, and this quite often leads to anti-Semitic readings of New Testament scriptures when we equate this attitude that the Pharisees have with Judaism as a whole. But what Jesus is critiquing in this sign, and in most of his signs, is not the Jewish faith of the Pharisees, because Jesus is a practicing Jew himself. But rather, Jesus is critiquing the rigid attitude that is taken in how they practice their faith. This Pharisaic attitude is not solely found in Judaism. It's found in all religious communities It's a mindset that tends to be pretty averse to new ways of interpreting and expressing faith. This Pharisaic attitude is rooted in the idea that there is a single right way to express faith and practice religion. Believing in one singular right way to practice faith offers us a sense of personal security. We all want to be right. There's a comfort in believing that we do things the right way. But the Pharisaic attitude is one that is inflexible, incapable of adaptation because it has become reliant on that comfort, unwilling to admit that maybe some of their ways might need to adapt in order to continue to do God's work in the world. Preserving their way helps these religious authorities maintain the sense of security that comes with being right and that comes with their established authority. But in doing so, they look inward, only to what helps them maintain that system, maintain that place of comfort. Because they were so focused on maintaining the traditions that they thought to be right, the Pharisees lost the self-reflective quality that makes faith transformative. They were so secure in the idea that they had things right that they lost sight of the times and places and the people that were in need. And out of this narrow view comes a zealous need to protect this system that benefits them at whatever cost. Jesus, in direct defiance of that system, is now a threat. And when these religious people feel threatened, and when many religious people feel threatened, they tend to use a lot of God language to rebuke what it is they're afraid of, saying things like, "This man can't be from God. God wouldn't approve of doing this. This isn't how we do things. It isn't proper. How dare you try and change the way that we do things?" A lot of hot air is blown, and many times, even today, that harmful, rigid energy is directed at those whose spiritual experiences break the traditional, conventional mold of the community. And when Jesus healed the man who could not walk, that man was berated like this by the religious elite because his experience threatened their comfort and their authority. And unfortunately, that man couldn't break free of his internalized shame, ultimately believing that his healing was a sin. But the man healed this time stands his ground, challenging that interpretation that the authorities are so bent on upholding. And the response to his challenge is to call him dirt, question his tone, and kick him out of the temple. It's certainly a disappointing result when conflicts like this result in a fractured community. And the primary lesson of this sign revealed is the high energy conflict in the aftermath of Jesus' healing work is telling. In this work, God reveals for us a desire to follow a faith ethic that is rooted not in the reliance on individual comfort that's found in being right, but in our dedication to community. Jesus makes his lesson clear when he says, "I came into the world to bring everything into the clear light of day," making all the distinctions clear so that those who have never seen will see, and those who have made a great pretense of seeing will be exposed as blind. In healing the blind man, Jesus reveals just how limited the sight is of those who think they see things clearly, those who think they have things right, and those who rely in the comfort of being right. Where a Pharisaic attitude sees the presence of struggle as a threat to their own comfort, a faithful attitude sees struggles and trials as an opportunity to jump in, adapt our principles and methods, in order to be a light where help is needed. Though it may risk that which we think we need to be sustained, as we've learned already, God provides so long as we believe in the way of Christ, a way that is malleable, a way that adapts and shifts and transforms in the moment, a way that is founded on the transcendent values of selfless love and compassion for all we meet, centering the common good of the community above all else. Amen.